Spoil mama on the go, lighten up the road, carrying heart and bubbly smile, lifting up the load. Sweet and helpful, got that cheer, every friend all year, witty spark and endless laughs, always bringing near. Heaven, shoulder, soul, sailing wide, oceans calling true, travel far and score, travel far, discover more, seas that sparkle blue, cruising waves, the breeze in hair, trail without a map, mom and family side by side, take another lap. Oh, my land, take us home where the wild winds blow, from Canada to distant shores, with love will always go. Oh, my land, light the night, guide us with your flame, with your spirit we are free, never be the same.
Oh, hi. Sorry. Oops. I'm a bit of a mess here today. Just took the dog out, so I am in desperate need of a haircut and a coloring. God, that's getting gray. Oh well. Soon. Next month. Promise. What a day. How's everybody doing? Yeah, see, we got Danny in here already. And I got a friend in the basement. Everybody's coming home at once. Son just came in the back door. His girlfriend just came in the front door. The dog's barking. Like, I don't know what to do. And he says her hair is crazy too. Well, mine was supposed to get cut before the cruise, but it came down to it. I ran out of time, money, because I had already got my American money changed over, and it was just like I didn't. So I was going to do it since then, and haven't got that done. So 6 months, over 6 months since my hair's been cut. And I promised my hairdresser I wouldn't go 6 months again before I get it cut. But oh well, it's going to be probably 7 months before I get it cut next. Hello, Jaden. Welcome in. Try to do the run around. Fill up the water. Go to the bathroom. Let the dog out. So nobody bugs me. Now the dog's going crazy. But mom and dad are home so they can take care of him. Mm-hmm. Here's everybody.
Here.
Oh, nose is stuffy. Allergy season coming into effect. Now it's starting to warm up outside. We're up to 42 Fahrenheit. I think it was 9 or 10 Celsius, and we're supposed to get up to 18 Celsius. So it's going to be up around 60 tomorrow and Saturday. But I know there's supposed to be some storms coming through this weekend down in kind of the southeast, looks like. I'm saying 8 Celsius now. Cooling off already. Oh, down to 6. Yep, cooling off. But I'll take the 18 if it gets up to 18 tomorrow. I think it rains Saturday. So today is Gurlz chat. Got some girls around. And my thing was, what bugs you? I know I put bugs going across the thumbnail, but what bugs you I was more referring to. What are your pet peeves? What things people do bug you? Jaden, Danny, anything that people do bug you? Or anybody that's lurking there? That's not necessarily just people. Things that like slow internet or my computer being slow. I had to update today, so since then I updated today, it's doing better. But this morning it was like clicking on something is like waiting. We got fiber optic. The internet should not be slow. So let's check off
what bugs me is phone calls that when they leave a message, but all you hear is funny looking sounds in the background, someone hollering, "Oh crap!" Oh, and I'm going, "What?" I don't know what this phone call is.
I know a few things around here is people leaving the toilet seat up.
Mm-hmm.
Or people not flushing is a big one. Them going to bed and leaving lights on. I've gone down, I couldn't sleep, so I gone down to refill my water, and it's like the bathroom lights on downstairs. The basement light's still on. The kitchen light's on. Nobody's up. So I'm going around turning off lights. Oh, my little bro being messy in the bathroom. Crazy people at the grocery store who just sit there and don't help bag. And they would probably complain that you don't bag it right. I like bagging my own, but they rarely bag for you around here. Well, they don't have people that bag. Sometimes the cashier will help you bag, but then I put up my stuff on the conveyor belt in sections. Like I put all my produce together, and I'll put all the dairy or the cold stuff together, and I'll put stuff that might be chemicals or soaps or stuff separate from the food stuff. And then if the cashier starts bagging it, they put everything in random bags, and it's like I kind of like it's in its own group. Like I don't want my chemicals put in with my food. Or another one with bagging, and I found it more so if it's a male cashier. You'll throw your chips or your bread or whatever in there, and then they'll throw something heavy and then on top of it and squish the bread. I'm like, really, dude? So more times than not, I bag my own, and especially down at the no frills down here, you do bag your own. They got the conveyor belt. You can go down the other end, push the things that comes towards you, and I bag it myself. Or if on rare occasions, depending on what kind of mood I'm in, if I don't want to deal with people, then I will go to the self checkout, because I only had 6-8 items today. It's like boop 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 in my backpack, but I can pack it in my backpack so it all fit. And most people that have been around my channel long enough know my biggest pet peeve around here in the kitchen.
It's I don't wash the dishes.
And guess what? Both sinks are full of dirty dishes, but I can't complain too much. I've been usually doing the dishes lately. They doing them here and there, but when there's not too many. But last night, I don't know what I ate last night. Oh, I did the chicken burger in the air fryer. But my son did a pasta dish after his girlfriend got home, and I'd had enough gluten. I shouldn't be eating gluten because that bothers me. So I was staying away from it, but he was being creative in that. So most things are full of dishes. But the big problem was we ran out of dish soap yesterday. So I will get them cleaned up when I get down there later. I did get dish soap earlier. Hello, V.
Hey, Z.
I hope you're feeling better soon. I do, like you do, put produce together, cleaning soap stuff, cold with cold, and that's the way to do it. Like,
You know, back, say, 10, 15 years ago, well, they still have this contest if you work at certain grocery stores. It's a bagger contest. But you have to see who can bag the stuff the quickest and how they bag it. Because you're not supposed to put beef in with pork and chicken.
yeah,
It's supposed to be separate. That's because of kosher, whatever.
or cross contamination, even of the
Yeah.
both leak or whatever.
Yeah, you're supposed to keep your soap and liquid soaps, and sprays in one bag, and your cold stuff in another bag.
Well, like your produce in a bag, and not all of, like sometimes, a lot of times I'll get the little plastic bags and put the produce in it and put it in the bag, but not always. And then if you go shove my dish soap in there and something else, and the cap comes open, then suddenly I get dish soap leaking all over my produce. And I don't want to have to wash my produce with dish soap or waste dish soap because it's all half leaked on it, or worse yet, having something like
Hi, Steve.
a different chemical, like say bathroom cleaners or whatever, something like that, leaking on your stuff, and that's toxic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what other pet peeves?
When you have a channel on your YouTube and your topic is supposed to be, say, pet peeves, or your topic is supposed to be about a cruise, but all you want to talk about is about something else, If your channel is made for talking about cruises, you 99% keep it talking about cruises. Don't throw in, we need this over here to go with it. No, that's not the proper place. And when people come in and advertise their stuff, I don't mind people advertising their channel. Don't mind people coming in and say, we've got so-and-so. But if that's all you're doing is advertising every week, it's not the proper time.
And I will touch on some of that next week. Similar things in there. Next week is a few of my favorite things that I'm talking about. One of my favorite things is moderators. So I got some wonderful moderators. Now I'm going to talk about my favorite moderators. It's okay, Gary. The guys are allowed in the chat. They're just not allowed up on the panel for girls chat. Thanks for stopping in, and thanks for the thumbs up. Pet peeve, squishing the toothpaste in the middle. That's why I don't share. And Mary says she has lots of compliments on her bagging skills. That's awesome. Yeah, I remember like when we used, and that there was up until not too many years ago, there was a couple smaller grocery stores where they still had, a couple baggers that they would kind of move around and help you out and stuff.
Yeah, our Kroger has baggers, and one of them was I substitute taught the kid,
Mm-hmm.
And I go in, hey, you're my favorite substitute teacher. He's handicapped, but I like it when they bag. And they had to teach, you have to learn how to put things in proper places.
Okay, a couple other I have on my list now that's getting nice outside. I'm back to walking Callie around. Wintertime, he uses the back patio for his business, but the weather's warmed up, everything melted out there, and I cleaned up the landmines and cleaned out the patio. So
Mm.
we don't want to get them warm and stinky out there. So that's all cleaned up. So back to walking. But a pet peeve, one of them is other people not cleaning up after their pets. And
Yeah.
there's some pretty big landmines out there that people.
Yeah. When I went to Helen, I looked in the bag and I said, darn it, I left the poop bags at home. So I had a roll of paper towels and I just kept paper towels in it, picked them up and with a paper towel.
I had the poop bag thing. Was it? It's a few days ago. And it was my fault. The night before, I had used up the last, or the early in the morning, I had used up the last poop bag. I think it was the night before. So when I took him out the next time, he's doing his business, and I looked down at the holder and went, "Ah, crap." So I let him do his business. Luckily, what they had done some road work, and they had the little marker flags and spots along the roads. I was like, okay, it's about 3-4 feet from that flag there. I brought him in, grabbed a new roll, took a bag off, put it in the rest of them in the holder, went out. There it is, cleaned it up. And I have a pail that I keep them in, collect them in, and then I dump them in the a pail outside. I collect them in, and then I dump them in the dumpster. But and my other thing, I it's a pet peeve in this nice weather. Well, I'm trying to walk him up and down the sidewalk, and people are riding their bikes on the sidewalk. Not kids, adults. And there's been times I have almost been run over by an adult coming home from the grocery store or on the way to the grocery store. And there's this one girl, she has a bell on her bike, and she'll get up almost in behind you, and they'll hear ching, 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 ching. It's like, excuse me, like, bikes are supposed to be on the road. I know that's a busy street, but it's not always busy. I can see, I don't know. We were raised to you rode your bikes on the road. You stay to the shoulder. But I get it, there's crazier drives out there, but if you're gonna ride on the sidewalk, be mindful of pedestrians. They have the right of way.
I forget what side in Germany, but Darren said you always walk on this side because you have fast walkers that are going the other side, and you might have a scooter or a bike come past you. So,
well, I don't know if they still do it, but when I was a kid, we had Elmer the safety elephant thing through public school and even bike or stuff beyond. But bikes ride on the right-hand side of the road. They ride on the side, traveling with the traffic. If you're walking on the road, you walk facing traffic. So I'm on this side of my street because there's a center median. On this side of the street, the cars are going that way. So if you're riding your bike, you ride on the side of the road and you go that way. If you're walking on the road, but there is a sidewalk, but if you had to walk on the road, you would walk this way. So you can see the cars, but that's what we were taught growing up. It's like getting off your bike and walking across the street. Nobody does that anymore. Haven't for generations. There's like a lot of rules. But I know I've seen a rule or a law somewhere that if your bike tires over a certain dimension, you're not supposed to ride on the sidewalk. You're supposed to ride on the road. Whatever. I don't ride a bike anymore. I just don't want to be hit. Hell, at my age, be hit by a bike and get hurt because of that. Thanks for reminding me to grab garbage bags. Yeah, we got the last ones in too, and I didn't grab those today because I figured I was on a budget. But that's all changed too for this month. We'll see. Let's see. I'll skip that one. Another one drives me crazy here is we have the kids over for dinner or whatever, or at Christmas time. And we're sitting in the living room talking, whatever, and look over and everybody's, or during dinner, it's like, excuse me. Excuse me. Hello, can we put the phones down for a while, at least, during dinner and have a conversation? Excuse me, can you close the door after you? Somebody just teach this dog to close the door.
I know what throws me off is when I go see my daughter. I don't get to see her. I hadn't seen her since July. I won't go back for a while. But anyway, that's another story. But they'll be sitting there in the restaurant and we could have a conversation. They're on their phone. It'd be a different story if I was there every single day. But since you don't get to see them but a couple of times a year, sometimes for a week, pay attention to your mom,
I love them to death, but hi, I'd like to see your face, not the top of your head. I don't need to see your receding hairlines.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else have I got on my list? Oh, being late's a big one. I was always the person that was on time or at least 15 minutes early. At least 15 minutes early. Then I married into a family that didn't give a hoot about getting anywhere on time. And it's like, that drove me crazy for years. And that really bugs me. when you say you're going to be, and I know people do run behind and they usually will let me know they're running behind, but some people don't. And they just tell me they'll be here at a time. And then it's like, or say I have to be somewhere by a certain time if you're giving me a ride, and it's like, I want to get there a few minutes early, not right on time.
Yeah, what bugged me about the contractors, they said they'd be here at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. It might be 1 o'clock when some of them showed up.
If they showed up.
If they showed up, yeah. Yeah, but the guy that's coming, when he's coming back, he's going to call me tomorrow, and he's not sure if he can come Saturday or he's coming Sunday after church. He goes to early service, 8 o'clock service, and he's Catholic. And if he says he's coming after church service, he'll be here by 9:30. 9:30, 10 o'clock. He'll be here by then. So, yeah, it bugs me that people can't come when they say they're coming, especially workers.
Yeah, if you go, say, to a doctor's appointment and you don't show up on time or you show up late, you get charged for it. But then you go and you get there on time or 15 or 20 minutes early or whatever. Then you have to wait, and you don't get in on your time. That's frustrating too. But yeah, doctors get way late on stuff like that. But that used to bug me. But taking your newborn baby to a doctor's appointment and sitting there for 2.5 hours when you had an appointment at, say, 1 and it's 3:30 when you finally get seen. I don't want to sit in the big waiting room of sick people with a newborn baby.
Yeah, I was at the doctor's office one time, and this lady, I could hear her talk. The doctor was over an hour late. She'd been sitting back there. I know emergencies come up.
Mm-hmm.
But she told the doctor, she says, I don't think I'm going to pay today because I miss work, and it's coming out of your pay that I had to stay late. She was kind of joking that, the doctor should pay her.
Oh, that would be frustrating too. Like, if you had to take an afternoon off for an appointment, whether it's yourself or your child, and then the doctor is really late and you can't do anything else, or the the doctor doesn't show at all, and then you've missed an afternoon of work, and then you have to reschedule. Some of those things are beyond control. I know that. I worked for a doctor for 13 years, but
Yeah, I just get frustrated when somebody don't come back there and tell you that it was an emergency going on. You're just sitting there wondering what the heck.
yeah. Or like I know it was, something happened and he was going to be 15, 20 minutes or half an hour late. I would say to the patients, he's running behind. Are you okay with waiting, or did you want to reschedule? Like, my apologies, kind of thing. Most of the times they would wait, and sometimes they would reschedule. Can I come tomorrow at the same time? If I had spot, yep. Hey,
Yeah.
Susie.
Now, when you go to a baby doctor, a gynecologist, and they come back and say the doctor will be back, we can reschedule, but somebody went into labor.
Yeah, that one's.
Yeah.
I had that happen a couple times when I went to appointments. Sorry, she got called away. Okay, can I reschedule for tomorrow or next week or what?
Yeah.
I was saying, I was going back to the phone thing. Nothing drives me crazy, whether it's texting or messaging. And you say, "Hey, so and so, I've got such and such coming up, or can I meet you at such and such a time?" Or whatever you say. You've typed 2 or 3 lines, and the person replies with "K." Just the letter K.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know, this is Google thing. The other day, last month, when we had snow, I asked Google, I said, "Google, are we getting any snow today?" It says, "No snow predicted for Atlanta, Georgia today." I look outside and what's it doing? It's snowing.
That's the weatherman for you.
Yeah.
Weather predictions are right. Hey, Shane, how are you doing? Good to see you. It's girls chat, but the guys can chat too in the chat. We're just talking about pet peeves, what bugs us. I've talked about a few things. And I know on a live stream it's hard. And we do it quite often. But in real life, in person, and I try not to do it, but another one is interrupting.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we started bringing something. And I know it's hard here with the delay in between. I try, and that's why I kind of step back sometimes, like, sorry. and I know I'm guilty of it sometimes too. So I don't make a big deal, but sometimes I get really frustrated. My problem, I know, is sometimes I don't have the greatest memory. And I have something in my head that I'm really excited and I really want to say. And if I don't get it out of my mouth right now, I might forget what I'm going to say. So that's my excuse, but it's not, it's not polite either. But I know some people that are really bad at it in my life, in real life. And my son always used the expression is, "I'm sorry, did the middle of my sentence interrupt the beginning of yours?" It makes me laugh because I think about that all the time.
Well, I get upset too when you're making a phone call, a business phone call, and you get the call center, and you get someone from, say, a foreign country, which is fine. They can have their jobs too. But when you don't if you don't speak enough American English to work at your call center, you shouldn't be there. I can't understand them. I mean, we do have American call centers with American people, but a lot of these big companies now, it's cheaper to pay someone in a foreign country to answer the phone than it is in the U.S.
And working in call centers is real fun, isn't it, V? V and I used to work for the same company, 2 different cities.
Oh,
Yeah, I worked for the 411 information. Best of the best. Did you?
411, and I don't even know 411 is still in business anymore.
I don't know. Well, 411 to get a number. Directory assistance, that's what I was trying to think of. But I know V took a lot of the French calls, being bilingual. I just got English ones, but you get some real winners there too. I couldn't imagine trying to do it for a different language. So if I was in a foreign country, if I was getting calls diverted to me from another country and I'm trying to explain to them what the number is or find out the information so I can give them the number, it's I can see both sides of that. Mr. Whitestock still makes. Back in I was there for 13 months, I think it was. I was just over a year there. And where I was working was about 10 to 15 minutes south of town here in another little community. But in between our community and where the call center was, there was First Nations Reserve. And then there was a Shell petrochemical plant. And then a little bit of the little town. And then we were kind of in the middle of it. And when they changed this, there used to be an old school at one time. And then it got renovated for the call center. And they put a real high efficiency air exchange stuff on it. And the one time we had, Shell had a hydrogen sulfide leak. And the wind had just happened to be blowing towards Corona. And with our high efficiency air system, it got pulled into the building. That was horrible. It was worse for the ones downstairs, I guess. It's heavier and they got sicker, but in our room upstairs, we're sitting there and you're just like, what smells like rotten eggs? And you're sitting there. And all of a sudden, your supervisor would come along going, yeah, sign off or make busy or whatever it was to go offline, and they were evacuating the building. I feel bad because V's call center in her town got all our calls diverted there. Meanwhile, our people we were being either evacuated in ambulances, the ones that were really bad, or the rest of us are hiking down the road to the fire station. Yeah, we were bombarded. The fire station, and we had the paramedics checking everybody out, and then it's like, stay here for a while and blah blah blah. And everybody's having difficulty breathing or wheezing or whatever, and it's like, I don't know if I'm wheezing or not. He listens to my chest. He goes, yep. In the ambulance. There's the 3 of us in the ambulance going there. I was sitting on the one bench by the one guy. There was another chair behind the gurney and another person on the gurney. We were held in the well, it was so bad they had to block off the road by the one hospital. That hospital's closed down now, but they blocked off the road so they could triage out there where the ambulance is coming in, because they only had the one ramp going into the ER and they had to back down that ramp. So they were triaging out on the road with the ambulances pulling in there. And everybody was on oxygen. A lot of us were just there. They kind of listened to us. Okay, you're clear now. You can go. And then I think there were a few were kept overnight to make sure they were breathing okay. But I think there was. I don't think there was anything worse than a few anxiety attacks, and I know some people took Shell to court over it. I took the settlement from Shell, which wasn't much. I could have gone for more, but I didn't feel like I was that serious. So $500 payout, right? Whatever, sure, give me the money. But that was a scary situation.
Yep, that can be bad. We have a plant that makes asphalt. It's called Cracker Asphalt. Up until like 2000 and say 2 or 3, somewhere in there, you could smell it no matter where you were in this area. It just stunk so bad. Well, they finally, the FDA, whatever, came in and made them change. And so they updated the system. And now you don't smell anything because it is piped underground and instead of on in the air. But there were a lot of people in our area that got cancer, and they were blaming Cracker Asphalt.
Well, there's another plant just north of the First Nations reserve. They're the poor people. The reserve is it's like the south end, like of our town, has a whole bunch of petrochemical industries, and then there's the reserve, and then there's Shell, and then there's the little town our call center was in, which is now the OPP station. But they got part of that reserve. They've kind of grown west away from the river, but I forget what the other plant was just north of them. And there'd be things like benzene leaks. Well, there's a lot of cases of cancer in some of the areas of the reserve. Well, wonder why? Because you got benzene leaking into the water or whatever. And it's like, things are better now, but back wasn't so much environmentally pushed when I was younger. But because a lot of our, in Canada, a lot of the fossil fuels, oil and that, comes from underground, but the majority of it comes from Alberta in the what they call the tar sands, but the oil sands thing there, and that's a heavier oil that has to be processed more. So areas like here, and there's areas I know in Edmonton, we were out there's all kinds of petrochemical plants that are processing all this stuff so it can turn into gasoline or whatever things to make things that are made out of petroleum, your plastics, your rubbers, all that stuff. Oh, we had one, it was polysar. Before that was polymer, but that was a place that did a lot of the rubber stuff. That part of town stunk. You knew where you were when you got that far down there.
Yeah, I used to live close to the paper factory that made the paper. Boy, did it stink.
Well, and then if you Google Chemical Valley, it'll bring you up the petrochemical industries down here. Another company was Dow, and Dow products went into your Ziploc bags and all that stuff.
All right.
Which was kind of cool. I worked as a nanny for a few years for 2 families. The one family, and then there's godson. And the one family, the dad worked. They were all chemical engineers. The dad worked for Esso, and the mom worked for Dow. And the other family, the wife worked for Esso, and the dad worked for Dow. But they had a place, like a store thing they could go into and order, a bunch of Ziploc boxes and boxes of Ziploc bags and all these other things that their chemicals or whatever used in. And it was a good deal, but kind of missed that, but didn't realize how much influence that they had in that. looking back here, Shane said he started making his maple syrup the other day. He lives in New Brunswick, and I was watching last year. He was out by his cottage, I believe it is. He was tapping the trees out there and gathering the sap, and then he made his own maple syrup, which was kind of cool. If anybody wants to see that, and go back and check out his videos on that.
Interesting.
It was cool to watch.
Now, I like cooking with maple syrup, but I don't like putting it on pancakes and things straight. It's just too much for me. But I like the taste once it gets into something.
I preferred maple syrup on pancakes, and that it just got to be quite expensive when my kids ate so many pancakes. So I was buying a table syrup that had 15% maple syrup in it, and then they don't make that anymore around here, so they buy the table syrup. If I get maple syrup, I'll use it. But I haven't even seen advertised. Usually I see it on Facebook when we have a conservation area outside of town about half an hour, and they do the sugar bush thing, and you can go out. They have the sugar festival or pancake festival, and they'll have a pancake breakfast, and you can go in the sugar shack and see where they're boiling the sap into sugar and all that, or into maple syrup and that. It's like, I haven't seen that advertised. Maybe it's not a big thing anymore. I don't know.
I don't know, but some of your restaurants, like Cracker Barrel, if y'all have been to a Cracker Barrel, if you look at their little container for maple syrup, read it. It's not pure maple syrup anymore. It's half something else, maple and something else in it. So I don't know when that became a thing, but I just looked at the container the other day and noticed that it wasn't all raw maple syrup anymore. So that could be a pet peeve. You used to this one thing and they change it.
I did for a long time have a little bottle that V given me, but I don't know what it must have used it.
Oh, and I get mad when I go to a restaurant. I don't like using anything but regular butter. I don't like margarine because it's one molecule from being plastic. Okay, I don't like margarine. So when I said, can I have extra butter or real butter? And they'll bring a little container out, a little cup, and it's margarine or it's the stuff that they use back to cook with. And I said, this ain't butter. Yeah, this is butter. It ain't butter. Take one little taste with your finger and know it ain't butter.
So they got what they got. They tried to pass it off for something else. I don't know.
I just think if you work in a restaurant, you need to learn the difference between butter and margarine. You need to, because a lot of restaurants will call margarine butter and butter margarine. Butter's butter,
Oh no, the one place I go to occasionally, and they say, "Well, you want some butter?" Don't tell me it's butter. It's margarine. I know those containers are margarine, but I always cooked with butter. I grew up with butter and all that. When I was married, he didn't care. If I asked his son to buy butter, he'd buy margarine. But I would prefer butter, but right now the price of butter, if it's not on sale, I don't get it. So right now, last week it was, I can't believe it's not butter. I know it's margarine. I almost bought some today because it's on for $1.88, but it's like, rather than paying $7-8 for a pound of butter, there's ghee in second place and olive oil in third place. Yeah.
Well, pretty soon you'll have the butter go on sale again because Easter's coming up. You watch your holidays when you're going to get it, and butter will keep in your freezer.
Oh, I usually
goes on sale.
If it's on a good sale, I'll buy more than one if I can afford it at the time. But like back at Christmas, or my cousin came over and had brought stuff over when we did baking, and she left some here. I like that you guys buy like a pound of butter well, the box that has has a pound of butter in there, but you have 4 sticks.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that because if you're not going through it too fast, you can only take 1 or 2 sticks out, and you can keep the rest in the freezer for forever.
Well, there are some places that when you buy whatever a pound here, I'm talking about other foreign countries. I don't know my metrics or my meters or whatever. I don't know it anyway. But it would be one big old long piece or something, not sticks. It's one big old thing.
Well, you can find it usually maybe one brand if you're lucky in Canada that has the sticks in it, but you pay more for it. It's like, oh, what? Why are you charging me more just to because we wrapped up 4 sticks and put it in a box? It drives me crazy because the difference in pricing too. Like, I know our dollar's different, but was it 2 years ago we went across for the Michigan meetup, and our eggs were like around $4 or $5 then, and to go into a store and see $1.09 for a dozen. I know you don't get that now, but it's like, but I can't buy a bunch and bring them back across because back then there was whatever avian flu going on and couldn't take meat or chicken or eggs or different things across.
I know eggs were $5.68 yesterday. This is at Aldi's or one of our cheaper grocery stores. I mean, Little's. And I said, darn it. Well, I went to Aldi's and I forgot to look at their price, but I looked online, same price as Aldi's and Little's. I said, well, I got 1 egg. If I really know I'm going to need a lot of eggs, I'll go buy them. But since I don't eat maybe 1 egg a week, I'm not going to waste $5 in something. I can eat other food.
I forgot to look when I was there today. I've been usually lucky that there's been, I don't know what. So I think they were still large eggs, but they were down in a smaller thing on the bottom shelf the last time I went, and they were $3 something for a dozen. I was like, okay, I'll take 1 of those or 2 of those, depending on what I could afford at the time. But you're looking at the other ones are like $5, $6, $7, $8 a dozen. I'm like, are you crazy? There's a lot of things I wanted to make the last few days, but my son used up the eggs the other day. I was like, I used 3 eggs on Sunday for his cake, and I think there was about 6 eggs left, and I don't know what he used them for. Some of them one day, and then he made bacon and eggs for them the one day for dinner. I had done something different, but oh well. He gets, she gets paid tomorrow. He gets his tips for when he delivers. If he gets tipped, whether it's in cash or, well, what he gets tips in cash, he can keep those. If he gets tipped on the debit machine, the weekend between their pays, they get those payouts. So he get that tomorrow. So he's buying a few groceries, and then hopefully I can pick up a few more on the weekends. So he gets paid next week. Unfortunately, he got a nice pay last week, but unfortunately things went to hell in a handbasket this week. And if anybody's on my Facebook, they've seen what happened. We're now down to 1 cat and 1 dog. They had to put the 1 cat down on Monday, day before his birthday, my son's birthday. So it's been a rough week. I did do a video, but I don't know if anybody wants to see it or not. It's only a minute, but the older cat, he's only 8. He was only 8, and it's a beautiful cat. And he was a lovable cat, just not a very bright cat. And for the 3rd time since she moved in with us, the girlfriend moved in with us with the 2 cats, he's chosen to eat something that he shouldn't have. And then it gets in his digestive system, and then it causes a blockage, and he's had 2 surgeries since he lived with us. one previous to moving in with us. And vet surgeries are very expensive, and this time they made the hard decision. Like, they just can't afford. They didn't have it. Like, my son had his vacation pay and that extra on his paycheck last week, and they had all these things he was going to do. Couldn't do it because they had to pay the vet bill to have the x-ray and then the examination and then the euthanasia and the cremation work. And it's like, it's rough.
Yeah.
But even if somebody, helped them out or they somehow managed to pay for it this time, who's to say the cat wouldn't turn around and do it again? Like, it used to be almost like every 2 years. Well, it hasn't even been a year. The last one was last June, and then we're not even 9 months later. So that was a rough day on Monday.
I bet. We put one animal to sleep, and I said I'll never do it again. I just pray, Lord, take them if it's their time.
Well, when we had the animal, the pet thing, was it last week or the week before?
Week before, I think.
Week before. It was the orange tabby. That was. Oh no, Amy has an orange tabby, but we have an orange tabby here. Had an orange tabby here. There's that one.
Yeah.
So now Callie's the oldest. Callie's going to be 7 was 7 that just turned 8 in February, March. Now Callie's going to be 8 in May.
Wow.
I think Glacian is 4 or 5.
Yep. I just thought of another pet peeve. Who likes water bottles? And you go, if you have a dog stroller or a people stroller, or you put it in your car and it don't fit, it falls out. This one, I tried to put it in Candy stroller to see. I'm going to a convention. I got to take her stroller. I love this bottle and keeps everything cold. But I put it in, it goes clink right out. It goes on the floor.
Oh, no.
And I know Danny loves collecting water bottles. And, even your grocery stores now, some of your buggies have a spot to put a water bottle. Some of your newer buggies or carts do. Yeah.
I like it because it's got the narrower bottom, but I think the one I won at my cousin's Christmas party, I don't think would fit. I don't know if it's... No, it's way back there. I can't fit.
But you don't know until you get it home sometimes that it's not going to fit. So I love these, and they'll have them again in April, I think it is. These will be out, or some similar Disney will be out at Aldi's again. And these people are left and right grabbing them. And I would love to grab another one, but if it's not going to fit, why am I bringing it home?
I don't know. I've seen ones that... Oh, right. Scott's Thirsty Thursday is going to be at 8 p.m. tonight, not 7. Can you find the link anyways for me, Danny? Sweetheart. Appreciate you. I know I've seen some things where they're more of a stretchy material or a neoprene things that will hang on the edges of strollers to stick water bottles in, but I don't know. I don't pay much attention.
What does this say? This ain't it. I've got one that comes from our water company. All it is a little plastic thing, but it's got like this is not it, but it's got a carabiner or whatever you call these things, mm-hmm. And you can snap it onto your clothes or your stroller or something. But it don't keep things cold, but at least you got water.
Yeah.
Because it's a plastic little thing. And they give them out every year at our market. And it's got a little hook on it to hang it on something.
I've gone back and forth between water bottles. I had a thermos one that I used for years. but then it was getting gross on the rubbery gasket on the inside, and I couldn't get it clean anymore. So then when I won this one from Kicking It Country, I was using it a lot. And then I won this one from Carnival Cruise Addict. So I go back and forth. If I'm going traveling and stuff like that, I take this one because it seals good. This one, when it arrived, I don't know how they managed, because this came in a padded envelope in a really flimsy cardboard box. Nothing. This one was in a box inside another box, and it had lots of packing around it, and somehow the clear plastic lid got cracked. So I have found this one that fits it, but it's not entirely waterproof. So this one I keep at home for using, but I have a collection of cups too. Yeah, this water bottle I got from V, and I got my the lime in it cup that I got from Amy. My cousin brought me back one from Vegas, but the lid on it doesn't stay on too well either. I also got a bunch of other mugs back there. It's the other thing too. I keep my mugs up here, even my coffee mugs. I don't drink coffee, but if I decide to make a hot chocolate, then I keep my mugs up here, because otherwise mine would go down to the basement and wouldn't come back upstairs. And things have happened to going down to the basement and get knocked off a table or whatever and getting broken. And it's like, yeah, I don't want my stuff getting broken unless I break it myself by accident. I'm gonna go back here and pin that.
In Tokyo, Japan, at Disney, they have a regular water bottle that you get at the grocery store, that kind of water with water in it. They have these lanyards you can wear, and it's got a little round circle with a screw on top, and you hook it onto your water bottle and carry it around that way. I said, now that's kind of interesting. Yeah. I mean, those regular water bottles that you get and put in your refrigerator, it don't stay cold, but I said at least you have it around your neck and you're not having to carry it.
No, you want your hands free to be able to do stuff.
Yeah. So I wish America would do what Germany does with their water bottles. When you untwist it, it doesn't come all the way off. They do that so there won't be any littering. You can't even twist it off. Darren said it's the way they're made, that little bit of anyway, it's just the way it's made. Darren said you're not going to be able to twist it off. You got to have a knife. But they want you to keep it on.
Talking about the lids, I don't know how many I've seen laying out on the grass out here. The plastic water bottle lids. That's a smart idea.
It's on all their water bottles, all their sodas, that unless you get a canned soda, it doesn't come off. And you can recycle too there. I don't know how much you get. I didn't ask Billy, but every time we had our water bottles, we left it to him. And when we stopped at the grocery store, when we stopped, he would take them all in and get $1 or $2, whatever it was. And
I think they noticed that over buying cans or bottles over there. You pay a deposit. And I know when I was when the boys and I drove out to Alberta, out there you pay a deposit, and that way you can return and you get, which is a smart idea, because people say they recycle here, but it gets thrown in the bin. Truck picks it up. God only knows what happens to it. I don't know.
Back when I was growing up, you didn't have plastic bottles. You had glass. And you could take any of these glass soda bottles, and you didn't see a lot of water in bottles either, but you could take them all back to the store and you would get a nickel or a dime.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore. Now, so if you look at some of the bottles, read your state. Some of them do still say recyclable for someone, but Georgia doesn't do that. They don't have a place. But in Germany, you go up to the grocery store. They got a machine. You push it in. and it spits you out a little. I don't know if it spit out money or a ticket. I didn't ask him, but you get your money in the grocery store.
So that was the big thing as a fundraiser back when I was younger too. Was the bottle drives back then used to be, hey, you collected up all the pop bottles and that, and you took them back to wherever and got your, or even back then it's like, oh, I found this many pop bottles, I take them back to the store, and whatever I get from that, I can buy candy with it. That was a great thing back then too.
Yeah.
Now a bottle drive's collecting up liquor bottles around here because you take whatever the liquor bottles or the beer cans, I take them back to the beer store and I can get 10 cents a piece.
So y'all get money for bringing them back, Danny? Because Kroger used to have a plastic container where you could bring your plastic bags back to Kroger, but I haven't seen that in a while in our grocery store.
Well, that used to be kind of not fun, but when my kids were old enough to drink and their friends would come over and they had a gathering at the house, and a few gatherings, and it's like there's times I loaded up the car at the time, but even if I had access to a vehicle now, but I could load it all up and take it back to the store, over to the beer store, and there's been times I get like $14. It's like, okay, I'll pocket that.
So I'm glad Danny State they get money back for taking their plastic bottles. Yeah, there was a thing on TV when they were showing how they took them in and washed them. The thing it went through, it pulled off the label. Then it went through the washing machine. I called it the washing station. And then they put it through another machine, and then next thing you know, it comes out and it's little bitty pellets. And it goes back in. It's recyclable bottles, and they, make more bottles and whatever out of it.
I'm trying to think. I'm just looking over here trying to think of where my I have a tote bag / backpack thing that I bought from the Essential Oil Company, and that they had the 1 year after convention, and it's I guess made from like 40 water bottles or something like that. 40 recycled water bottles, the material of it. It's kind of cool. But seeing the things that can be made, like that's another pet peeve. Still seeing litter, like people. There's garbage pails. There's bins. Take your thing home with you and put it in the garbage, or if you're walking by a store, like throw it in their dumpster or garbage near there. But the people I watched a kid last summer, the summer before, he had like what we call them Frosties here, but the slushy cups from like 7-Eleven or whatever. He was drinking it, walking along, and all of a sudden he just dropped it. Like, really, dude. Take it home. Take it to the next place. You dropped it here, right around the corner here. We have 3 recycle bins and a dumpster. But nope, let's just drop it beside the road. Drop it on the boulevard. No wonder our world's going to. Anywho, we're over the hour, so I think I'm going to wrap it up. Be back next week for, what did I say it was?
I don't remember.
I'm talking about my moderators.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about moderators.
Talk about who my moderators are, why I chose them, what I expect in a moderator, and what. That's probably why I chose them. What moderators' jobs are. What I think I've talked about moderators before, but we're going to bring it back, and I'm going to talk about some of my favorite people. Mod appreciation. Yep. So, anyways, thanks for coming in, guys. Any of those catching on replay? It was basically, pardon my French. No, it's not French. It was basically a little bitch session. So. Wish you could have more girls up here to have the little bitch session, but next time.
We could have bitched a little more, but we had to kind of keep it semi-clean.
Yeah, well, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, so I have to be careful there. Yep. And then the next week is your birthday. Well, the day before is your birthday is my thing, and then her birthday will be match game. So, tune into match game on the 28th. It'll be a special night. Anyways, thanks for coming in, guys. Love y'all. See you next week.
See ya.
Bye for now.